Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Want to thank you for coming out tonight. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. You beautiful, healthy, positive cucumbers. Welcome to TCB Studios. Welcome to Burn It Down. Happy Monday evening. I am having a case myself of the Happy Mondays. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a perfect weekend? Have you ever had a special weekend that just everything went so well? Well, I have, and we're going to get into it right now. First things first, I want to thank the man behind the driver's seat, the man in the back of the fire truck, taking us through Harlem and the Bronx and all the roads in the USA and America, fixing problems, spraying out negativity, and just spreading good news and light, burning down the toxic stuff. Mr. Jon Phipps behind the scenes tonight. I want to thank Renee Yaworsky for the new help with the logo, Jamie Bennett for the intro, my brother and dear friend, collaborator, Lloyd Benjamin, for being our guest next week. Well, let's get back into it. This past weekend, well, actually, you want to know something? I don't think I could say it any better. I'm going to bring him on. We're going to talk about it. Talk about how we met, how this weekend went, and where we go from here, how things unravel. But I mentioned it earlier. School teacher, father, husband, community leader, baseball coach. I think he wrestled a couple of nights in high school. Freedom fighter, talks for people who have no voice. And that, by the way, is probably the most important thing to me. Classical piano player. He says he can't play guitar, but I call BS because I watched him do that in the studio at Diamond Street Studios on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, collaborator, partner, most importantly, though, on this show, my dear friend, Mr. Daniel Gay.
Man, I don't even know what I feel like I'm in a Wu-Tang Clan video. The beginning of that intro was the greatest.
Real quick, as I'm seeing myself right now, by the way, I just shaved and showered and I'm cut up a little bit. So I want to thank our sponsors, Kelly's Death Pickles and also Guinness. I'm probably after this show, I still get nervous doing this stuff once in a while. After the show, I'm going to have a Guinness. But the goal of this show, my friend, is to make my guests blush. So I hope you like that intro.
I'm glad I haven't shaved because my skin is a beet red underneath this. Yes, that was unbelievable. Freedom fighter. It's the first time I've ever been called that. Hope it's not the last time. But yeah, that is
you're my favorite blush in Russian. You're my favorite blush in Russian.
The
you know what I mean?
Russians. Oh man. Yes. I'd like to just say I don't know, 12 hours ago, we're walking down Ponce de Leon, right?
Yes, Ponce de Leon. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been
walking through an area called Virginia Highland in Atlanta. Then basically what you would call Midtown. And then you got on a train, which is MARTA, which is Metro Atlanta, transit systems. And you took that through downtown to the airport and flew back to your lovely family in Massachusetts. And I want to give a shout out to the wife and kids and say thank you for letting us have him on loan this weekend. And we're going to get into that in a few minutes, because let me tell you right now, talk about killing two birds with one stone. We maximized our time this weekend. We got a lot done.
No doubt about it. I mean, I flew in on my 44th birthday on Thursday.
Happy birthday, Daniel!
Thank you so much. It's also Barack Obama's birthday, Billy Bob Thornton, Roger Clemens. We all share this great day together. And it was an amazing birthday.
Great company. You are in great company.
I am. I got picked up by your lovely assistant
Denise, who ruled,
who showed me around the city, gave me a ride in a beautiful automobile all the way back to your place where it was nonstop fun and the most music I've ever made in my life. I think this
Yes,
is honestly the most diverse group of people I've ever played with, the most I've ever thought about music, the most I've ever talked in depth about music with people who I really respect and love.
lovely.
And I just have to say I'm still not fully processed it. I just walked in the door an hour ago, and I
Right.
just once I do, my heart's full. I'm a grateful man.
But let me
And
tell you, there's nothing better than your heart being full. I say for both of us, speaking for the both of us, we want to give a shout out to Matt Greenia and
oh,
Diamond Street
excellent.
Studios, and also his wonderful podcast slash, I believe it's a conglomerate and a record label, Group Hugs, but we call it Dude Hugs because it's just
Man,
wonderful. And interesting, left of center, whoever you would describe this, not the normal pop sensibilities,
no,
just interesting stuff. And
he's
you
got
fit in right at home with it.
and he has such a great ear as an engineer, and he's just and a conversationalist, and everything working with people who share those sensibilities is always, I mean, we cherish those things, and I feel like I got to do that this weekend, and
Oh, you
man,
did. Well, you were the
it was
MVP on
awesome.
Saturday. Shout out to Wallers and BLT Fest, and I know we
Yeah,
can't wait to do another one. But I think you pretty much shared stage time with every band. So
I yeah,
it
and
says so much
Rosie
about
gave me a
you.
T-shirt. I'd love to. Yeah, it
It
was
says
just incredible.
it says so much about you, but it also says so much about how people react to you, and everyone wanted to play with you, and you're quick, and it was just this wonderful, climax and just wonderful ride of enjoyment. And then yesterday playing with Jeff Evans. But the reality of this show is, and I've said this from day one, is I'm so lucky as an artist that over the years, but also it comes down to, my dad used to say when I was 12 years old, it's nice to be nice. And I've tried to live by that and try to be good to people. And Joe Strummer said, no input, no output. Like it's all the same thing. Just be good to people and you get that stuff back. And I've been so fortunate, fortunate son, lucky, whatever you want to call it. But every guest I've had has been just, including Jon Phipps and Renee Yaworsky a few weeks back. It's just been wonderful. And I don't want it to be like I'm interviewing someone. I want it to be a conversation, just talking. So I
I
need to start with how we met, which was during the pandemic.
which was one of the it was a terrible time in human history, this pandemic. It's
Yeah.
continued, but out of it grew some flowers, and one of those flowers was this meeting you through online, which I before the pandemic, and I just want to be fully honest with this, like this new paradigm of doing things on the internet was, it seemed like it eliminated human connection, but it was
Yes, which is
pretty
rough
far.
for you when that's all you know, by the way. And let's also say that you not only you were a teacher, so thank you for your service,
Well,
but
thank
you're a teacher to people who are come over who might experience hatred, like to
you. Yeah,
aliens, and to
yeah,
wonderful, beautiful aliens.
yeah. They're yeah, and that's what during the pandemic it was very difficult to be removed from human contact. But one thing that came out of that was, a lot of us who are musicians and performers, and I know this is true with you, Tom, we put ourselves out there more online because that was just a chance. That's a way to connect.
Yeah.
It was the only thing we had.
Yes.
So I love this band from Sunderland, England. They inform so much of my political thought,
Mm-hmm.
the things I care about, the music I listen to. This band Leatherface, who I just every chance I get, I try to tell people, listen to them if you don't know who they are.
Yes. Yes.
So there's a forum online. I posted a cover. I'm a pianist.
It's basically their fan page. Yes.
It's their fan page, and the band hasn't been active in 10 years. They broke up 10 years ago. But over the pandemic, I'm like, this is a chance to connect with other Leatherface fans. I'll post myself playing one of their tunes on the piano. And there's not a lot of piano in Leatherface songs. They're allowed.
I think there's two songs there. Shipyards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great, but that's not really their thing. And I thought, but underneath these gruff, really strong leftist, awesome dudes, tough dudes, are these beautiful songs, and I always heard them, and I didn't even have to look for it. It was right there, you know. And being able to do that, and the response I got from that was just, to me, like I perform music. I'm a performer. I play around, you know, like a local musician does. Never had a response like this. It was just like, oh my God, like the things people were saying.
It's so real and so human. And I've always said this about the gentleman who writes the songs is by the name of is Frankie Norman Warsaw Stubbs.
Beautiful,
And,
man.
and he hates the right things, which, by the way, which everyone in Cosmos does, which I love, and loves the right things. And I think he's part Samuel Clemens and Mark Twain,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
part Bill Burroughs, and I guess part, you know, Chinaski, or you'd say Charles Bukowski, you know,
Yeah.
and Tom Waits, you know, and it's just poetry in motion.
And I think with him, you know, it's the whole package, you know. And people who like punk rock, you know, they might like Leatherface, but the people who love Leatherface, you know, they're fans of, they think they're thinkers, you
They're
know, and
thinkers, and they're freedom fighters, like we mentioned, like I mentioned. Yeah.
And the response I got was amazing. And you sent me an email, and or we connected through email, and I was just,
Yeah, I think I just said I'm friends with the band. This is a beautiful cover. I'm gonna send it to them. That was basically
yes,
it.
which was like, to me, like basically saying, hey, you're gonna go meet Mick Jag, you know, you're gonna get
Right,
Mick
yeah,
Jagger's
Robert De Niro. It's like in
your
1990.
CD.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So immediately I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. And I know these guys, they're not Green Day, you know, that's not who
No,
they
no, they have jobs. Yeah, I mean, Frankie
are.
does sound at a local bar in down the block around the corner from his house in England. You know,
But I
yeah.
think that's I have more reverence for them, you know. It's just,
Me as well. Yeah,
you know, and just the fact that putting myself out there in that way could connect me to so many people. I started thinking, like, the way I've always thought about music was, you know, I love to play. I just want to get out there and play. And I've never had a problem doing that. But this time I started thinking, well, I write songs, I write lyrics. Maybe someone's going to want to hear these things. Let me try this out.
yeah, for
We
sure.
just really started fostering this relationship. And the one thing you do, Tom, and I've seen this firsthand, the times I've met you and the times I've been around you, is you bring everybody around you up.
Oh,
And
so kind. Thank you.
you did that for me, and you did that for so many people over that pandemic, who are those creative types who needed that then, because so much of the well had dried up. There was no outlets for so many of us. And I think the worst part wasn't that they were gone. It was that people didn't really know if they would ever come back. You
Yeah,
know,
there was so much uncertainty.
it was, the hope was tough to retain, but
Yeah, mhm.
you
And by the
we
way,
did.
this what we're doing even here now, and thank you again. Shout out to Jon Phipps and
Yeah,
Renee
John, thank
and
you.
people who and Andy and Kim with Come Miles. Those little things were like, holy cow! Someone's giving me a little bit of a life vest for now, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
take it. And I was scared to do that, but that led to so much more. Our deep conversations, and then you even contact me and say, "Wait a minute, did you write the song Another Day? This was one of my favorite songs
yeah.
for the
Oh
pandemic."
man,
And
and
next
West
thing you know, we're just talking to each other.
we're
And
talking about who we are, you know.
yes, and I love that. And next thing you know, we're talking about our families, our loves, our highs, our lows, our losses, which to me is the best thing to do with your best friends, also
That's
ones who are artists like you. And so we get you to come to Atlanta for the Kimono Mass Festival in March, which is wonderful. Fast forward till now, and this relationship is just wonderful. And we were in the studio. We knocked down 7 songs on Friday, which I got news for you guys listening. Holy cow, you're not ready for this record. It
oh
is
man,
an emotional roller coaster. I mean,
literally.
seriously, I was texting with my buddy Joe in New York when you were in the studio on Friday. I walked outside and some of the songs, since you're a teacher, about school shootings. And I was like, you're not going to, you won't believe what I'm witnessing. Like, I'm just,
Oh man,
maybe I shouldn't have had that tequila at lunch, but
yeah.
whatever it
Well,
was, I just started crying, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then you kill it on Saturday, the BLT Fest, Lars Nagel, Diane, everyone else involved,
it was just
everyone brought
wonderful.
their A game. Then Sunday we have you play with Chickens and Pigs, who Jeff is just, I'm such a fan of that guy.
Yeah,
And
what a thrill playing with him, man. He's just Jeff Evans. For someone, I'm a New England guy. I'm from Vermont. The South is almost like I feel like the way British people think of cowboys.
no, you're absolutely, and he is, but he's a beautiful cowboy. And the thing is, I mean,
Oh man, he's the best kind of South I could possibly imagine. He's just the real deal. And as a guitarist and a songwriter, it's like playing with Keith Richards with a twang.
Yeah, you know, when I moved here from New York City in the early '90s, there was a bit of this culture shock, but I really lucked out and met some of my best friends who now you've met because I've shared them with you. That they've been best friends of mine that I've not only shared this wonderful life with, but wonderful artist life with, where I put out 3 albums with this guy and 4 albums with this guy, and then you get to know it and you appreciate it, and we're the luckiest ever, you know.
Man,
and now we're talking about doing another festival. And then yesterday I introduced you to a friend of mine who does some work with certainly a lot of local artists, but is involved with politics, like voting and making change, because it really does take a village. And we talk about that. And I'm super excited about the future, like us getting this record of yours done, and certainly collaborating more. I mean, we made this joke this morning because we walked to the we walked to the train station.
Beautiful morning. Fox Theater. Fox Theater. Walk right by the theater. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, you need to do this probably and share the stage with these people once or twice a year. And I, by the way, I need to make it up by you and play with you once or twice a year, because it is always about, and we talk about this. I've said it on stage, and I know you said it on stage the other day. It's like, take it, embrace it, hold it, run with it, and pay it forward and give back, you know?
I mean, I think about it like this. What are we without our connections to other people? You're like an empty vessel, you know? And I feel like the Kimono My House thing that was born out of the pandemic as this outlet for artists really showed the best side of humanity.
Yes. And then people,
the worst situation.
And the people we met through SDF, shout out. And then now with Renee and Jon doing Cosmos, and you're wearing a shirt of Vic Burgess. Vic Burgess, one of my favorite singers. I think he was born at the wrong time. Lars and I were talking just the other day. He goes, Vic and Daniel are the 2 guys who, what you see is what you get. And you know that. And I hope to be that way too as a performer. It's like, you know, they're consistently going to perform this way, even if they do the same song differently every time, but you know they're going to knock it out. You know, and there's an element of professionalism to that, because I know the first few years of me performing, I was a nervous wreck. One show I knocked out of the park. The next show I was a mess, and I almost peed in my pants. You know, and it's all learning. You're learning,
but you feel like you have to do it. Like, and I know you're the same way. It's like, if you're not doing it, you want to be doing it. And even when, and I play a lot, you know, this week, I have gigs around New England, and I'm excited for most of them, but sometimes you don't want to bring it, you know, you don't want it.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't be up for it, but you got to, and I think as a performer, it's because we're compelled to be this way. Like this is.
And listen, we also bite off more than we could chew. There's been some times I've said I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm like, I bit off more than I can chew. I don't think I can do this. But then you want to know something? Then I'm hanging out having a coffee with Diane Marie, or then I get a call or a message from Renee Yaworsky saying, "You're my brother. I appreciate you. I love you. I got your back." Or then I'm talking with you, or then I bump into Vic Burgess, you know, and someone says, you know, yo, thank you. I appreciate this. Appreciate you. Or Julio from Buffalo says, yo, thank you. You gave me this chance, you know, and we do this together. And it really is, you know, it's something very human and okay, because I don't think art should ever be perfect anyway. So we're all works in progress.
No, I think so too.
I've said this a million times. My favorite singers are like Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding. And I love when they've been up for 3 days doing bad things and their voices go out of tune.
That's the honesty,
that's the best.
Well, then you trust them, right? I think that's when you learn. It's like, okay, like this, he's human, and he's just, I'm going to go for the
job. Yeah. And we're so lucky to be alive at this time. That's the thing. You always want to be the glass is half full, like not empty. I'd rather be an optimist every day than a pessimist. It's like, and I understand because I certainly do have anger towards a lot of things,
Yeah.
But it's like,
You just got to direct it the right way.
yeah, and we're so lucky to be alive that I grew up hearing David Bowie songs or whoever it might be to you, Bob Marley. Goodness,
we live in a great time, and it's just, I think what I learned and what you learn with travel, and like even if you're traveling just to, down the road. I mean, I got to travel to Atlanta from Massachusetts. For me, it's a huge deal. I never leave my kids. I never leave my wife for this.
I know, and I love when you thank them. And the thing is we are, and travel makes you smart if you're open-minded.
It does,
and I actually want to add to that and say, I'm so lucky to be alive at a time where guys like Troy Moore and Daniel Gay and Vic Burgess and Jon Phipps and Bob Ross and Chickens and Pigs and Renee Yaworsky are alive. And all of you guys make me not only a better artist and musician and performer, but you make me a better, I think, thinker, and I'm more considerate.
Man, I don't know how you can be, Tom. You're you give so much to so many people, and being able to witness it, like you live in a great place, and I
made a joke earlier. I don't really live anywhere. That's the thing. But my heart is
home
right now, which is here. Yeah. And I'm very, very lucky with the team. I have a very good team behind me that you've met. Assistants and people who work with us.
It's like,
and even us working with Cassie and James doing the wonderful 3 on the 1s and 2s Saturday morning. We got so much done,
which was wonderful.
I'm super proud of that. If we would have got crazy one night and stayed out late doing shots on the roof, we wouldn't have got any of it done.
That wouldn't have happened. Your assistant Denise.
Yeah, best ever.
I just have to say, I mean, comes from a different time when people just were that considerate of other people. And
I can honestly say I do not know one person, and I know I know thousands of people, but I know 100 very close. I don't know one person who has got a bigger heart and a sweeter soul than her. So she's perfect because she believes in TCB and what we're doing.
Yes, she does,
and helps me get it all done.
I think working with Cassie and James and being able to participate in 3s on the 1s and 2s, like that is just what a great premise. This show,
you knocked it out of the park. We gave Jon Phipps a bunch of shout outs because we wanted to do one with him. Well, we'll do it with him down the road. But I guess what I want to talk about now is, where do we go from here? The future, because we need to have you back in the fall. We need to finish this record. And we need to have you do more next year. I actually think I have a feeling, because I was taking notes today, that we're going to knock out this record and we're probably going to jump right into your second record.
I'm a fountain, especially the more fucked up the world gets.
Right.
I'm almost hopeful that it gets worse. No, because I came home. It's really funny. I came home. I hadn't watched the news. We were talking about this. Like, it's amazing when you don't watch the news, how good you feel. I was ambivalent to the whole world. I didn't for 4 days. Then I come home and it's just like, I was looking at it on my phone. I'm like, oh, Jesus. This is like 3 days of news. Taiwan, China.
I need to get better at that because I get so stressed, and I work in television and I watch the news, and I know all of it is just junk. And the worst thing for me, I wasted 2 hours. I'll never get that 118 minutes back. And I could have wrote 3 songs.
Just like you, I write all the time. I keep a notebook. I put little ideas, and I write the music in my head. I love it. And just, I do have to say, one thing I learned is, like, nothing is more human than paying it forward. Nothing's a better way to live than doing that. And I think that making a record, and that's a result of you paying things forward.
Wow.
And I think that this experience for me, whatever happens with it, I mean, I'm really excited. really excited to do this and have my songs put out there for people to, listen to, judge, hate, love. That's not the point.
Right.
I just think I encourage people to do this. I think
It's
so many
it's
people
so
have a
healthy
voice.
and so good for you. Yeah.
When there's voice, people feel disempowered in this country. I think a lot of the time, artists especially. I don't think arts are very appreciated as a
Right.
whole in society in America. I think that by doing things like this and seeing people, I'm a school teacher. So many of us have other jobs. But doing this is just a testament to, like, you know what? You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Like, you can write songs. You can put this out there. You can share these things with the world.
Oh, it's lovely.
I think people should.
I should have done a better job with my notes, but I also didn't think about this earlier, and I will think about who said this earlier. You might remember who said it. I'm probably gonna remember it as we sign off. But basically, it's like, write a letter, write a poem, write a song, and who cares if it's bad? You walk away at the end of the day. You did this thing.
Yeah, that's it.
You built something. You created something. And it's easy to lose track of that these days because people say it's about numbers or your viewerships.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with that.
No,
I'm completely fine with most people might hear my stuff after I'm long gone, and my job is to document where I'm at right now and the ups and downs and all arounds. I'm so excited about this record that we are doing, Daniel. It really is a beautiful ride. It's a bit of I have a feeling, because I was listening to it a little bit earlier, it's a bit more emotional than I thought. And I think it's only going to get more emotional because especially where we put the instrumentals, that might be the part where someone goes to you go use the restroom, but it might be where a guy goes to a kitchen and has a few shots, and it might be where another guy goes and decides to take some chemicals and be like, I need drugs in me. I mean, because
that's what I want. I want it to touch.
I
want it to touch whatever nerve it can, and I think
totally will. It totally
that's
will.
Art, that's what I want it. That's what I wanted to do. I'm proud of it.
It's real. And I talked with Matt earlier, Matt Greenia, again, shout out. And,
I
was talking about Stations of the Cross, and coming from a Jewish writer and a Gentile. You and I chatting, we had so much good Jew talk this weekend. We really got so heavy into Jew talk and Jewish artist talk this weekend.
So much,
but Matt said
to
me,
Matt
said to me, he goes, Tom, 3 or 4 times throughout the weekend, he goes, I heard different songs that I want to push as the single for you. Man. And I was like, wow, because he's not even that kind of artist. We're not even pushing it as a single. He goes, no, we're pushing this record out as a single with a song. But it kept on changing. I go, well, for me now it's Stations of the Cross, But the thing is the reality is all you wanted to do is affect somebody. When I left you this morning and hugged you goodbye, 2 thick men hugging each other goodbye in the morning with iced coffees, and you're leaving on the train.
Covered in sweat.
On the train to the plane to say hello to your family, and I'm walking back to my office, and I started writing a song, and I'm like, I said goodbye to my buddy. And I'm just like writing these songs in my head,
You're processing the moment, man.
It's all about that, and listen, no regrets with any of that. It's all been a wonderful thing, and trust the process. It's all been such a lovely ride. And what excites me is, and this goes for everyone behind the scenes at BLT, TCB, Cosmos CCTV, because we're all in this together. Any kind of weather, we have each other's backs. We lift each other up when we're down. It's only the best part is it's only the beginning if you decide to let it.
That's true. You got to keep it going, and it's work. But the work is always the ends always justify this. Like the byproduct's worth it. The work is worth it.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Listen to me. We were talking about Bob Dylan Idiot Win the other day. I'm like these, I say that to folks. I'm like, I don't have the fans, not even a fraction of the fans that Bob Dylan has. But you know what's cool? I get to tell my mom I do what Bob Dylan does. What's that? I write songs, and I love it.
You could be in the same category. It doesn't matter. Bob Dylan doesn't give a shit.
No, he does not. That's what makes him cool. This has been the best ride. And what I love about the ride is that it will continue. So you and I, every few days, we must text each other, email each other, ideas, thoughts, entertain each other, lift each other up when we're down. That
Jokes.
goes for all of us watching. Build each other up and say, okay,
Yep.
when are we meeting again? I hope to see you in 10 weeks. I can't afford it. I'll see you in 12 weeks. And take this to the next level and knock people's socks off.
Love it. I love it. I love this show. I love this
Oh, man.
conversation. I love the air conditioning in my room.
Oh my goodness! I got news
It's
for you.
hotter here.
I'm about to down 3 Guinness and dance to Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros. We talked about that this morning.
Oh
Love
man.
is all around. We could go for hours, but also
Yeah.
even though the time didn't change, I'm sure you're jet lagged. I'm gonna down a Guinness and dance with the assistant. Much love to the wife, the kids, the family.
Thank you.
Worcester, Massachusetts. We're gonna be up there. We're gonna be jamming.
Yep.
Much love to Jon Phipps, Renee Yaworsky, Jamie Bennett, my buddy Lloyd Lay last week. Next week, we have Adam McIntyre from the band The Pinks, who I've known for years, who has been so prolific. He has done a lot during this time. And that's the other thing. You know, you could spend 2 years and complain, be like, I don't have this, I don't have that. You know what we did? Yeah, we did some complaining, but we got stuff done and we did good stuff. And there's now look at the results. There's CCTV. There's just wonderful stuff happening.
I love it. I love it. We're living in a good time.
Man, I love you. We love you. And we will see each other soon. And let's all remember, man, seriously, there's nothing cheesy about it. We're all in this together.
We're all in
Cheers,
it
my
together.
brother.
Love
Burn
you,
it
man.
down.
Yeah.
Love you.